to another episode of God It Together, where we talk about real life issues and we offer you faith-based solutions. Now, guess what? We're going to keep our promise and we're going to shout out our platinum donors from our crowdfunding this summer. Listen up, guys. You may hear your name. Bernard Williams, Deb Henney, Desiree Floyd, Jackie Rivers, Juanita Bussey, Mia Floyd, Manifa Munson, Patrice Watkins, Tyrese Artis, Yvette Dukes, Bryant Knight, Denise Dix, Ebony Ross, Enid Knightner, James Brown, James Duckett, Tanisha Shepard, Vernell Prince, Paulette Sutton, Ronell Spratley, William Cecil. Can we applaud y'all? Come on now. Our platinum donors, okay?
Yes,
thank you so much. And listen, we have another person that we want to kind of shout out, you know? And it's a rumbling applause that we want to give to
the sixth woman at the table, Kimberly N. Thompson. We would be remiss if we didn't thank you for your comments and your support. Everyone, please comment. We want it to be a dialogue, not a monologue, y'all. So y'all got to talk to us so that we can talk back to you. Thank you, Kim. We appreciate your support.
Thank you so much. We also want to say thank you to our quarter sponsor donor, which is Ephraim Home Care. And we're going to have information for Ephraim loaded in our description. We just want to say thank you so much for your sponsorship. It has been such a blessing. Now, ladies, we're going to get into the topic, but before we do, let's just do our little check-in.
Yes. Where do I begin? It's been a pretty good week in thinking about the episode and what we're going to be discussing. It kind of had me in my head around, you know, just some different things that have been changing because the seasons are changing and we're also changing. So that's just a little sneak peek into what we're going to be discussing. But anybody else had anything fun happen this week?
I think we had a busy week. Running back and forth, just kids, duties. You don't really stop and think about how much of a responsibility, you know, when you have kids. I have adult kids, and it's still a responsibility. Bigger responsibility. Right. But just running around and really not thinking about yourself, you know, taking time for self-care. So I've been thinking about that, you know, this week.
Okay, so I guess we'll just roll into the topic. As you can see, I have some visuals here because I'm a visual learner, as we all know. And the visuals are kind of telling. So this jar here has 90 marbles in it, right? Because the average life expectancy is about 85. So I threw in an extra 5 for good measure because, you know, we are God's girls, so he's going to give us a little bit more years on this earth. So this one has 90 in it, but then this one has 45. Now, I know we're all at different ages, and I'm the youngest at the table.
As if we haven't heard that before.
Well, you know, just in case our viewers don't know.
Y'all heard that before.
No.
Yes. And how about if you're getting tired of hearing?
Right,
Comment on that.
That's a good one.
Wah. Okay, so this one has 45 left in it. So I'm just looking at the difference between where we began and where we are now. So it kind of led me to a question around midlife. So midlife, are we embracing it? Excited, oh my God, like I'm in the middle of my life. Are we embarrassed by it, like, oh my God, I don't want nobody to know how old I am, I'm not telling anybody, they can guess whatever they want? Or are we enraged by the fact that this much of our life is all we have left? The table is open.
Oh,
Let's
my
talk.
goodness. You know what? When I heard that, embrace, embarrassed, or enraged. I'm not embarrassed.
Okay.
I'm embracing it because I think it's awesome when I look back just to see how God has brought me so far.
Okay.
And that's, for me, that's encouraging for me. Like when I look at my life and I'm like, okay, God, I'm in the next half of my life. This is a blessing because I'm looking at what he's done and what he's able to do.
Yes.
So that's such a blessing for me. Yes, I am enraged when it comes to just health. You know, and just the challenges with health that you don't even think about. You know, you can't jump up like you used to, because you might crack something.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Okay.
Talk about them cracky, squeaky bones. What's going on? Nobody told you about that, did
Nobody
they?
told. And not even just the physical part of it, you know, in doing my own just studying and looking at just getting older. I'm over 50. But the mental part of it as well. Like, why am I feeling so sad? I never experienced this before. Why am I so down? Why it takes me longer to encourage myself and get myself back up? Why am I so anxious? So this the mental part and the physical part that I did not know about, and the challenges that I have faced so far does have me a little enraged. And I have to be honest about that, you know. In trusting God, I'm still like at this place where this sucks. What? Let me like make some changes here and get myself together. But so I'm gonna, you know, I'm embracing it, but I'm also a little enraged.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, I would say that I'm embracing it, but I'm also enraged. These eyes.
Child, not the
I
eyes.
know that we all can relate to that. Oh, it's tough, you know, with the changes in your sight.
Yes.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I can remember when I first started having these changes, and I went to the eye doctor because I was like, is something wrong with me? What is going on?
Right.
Because I never knew that your eyes would get, you know, to this level where you can't see to read, you know? So the eye doctor said, oh, you just need to go next door to Walmart and get yourself some readers, and you'll be fine.
Well, that was a quick appointment.
They shouldn't have charged you for that one. They should have charged you.
Yes.
Right.
But I just had no idea. I thought I had a tumor. I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
You know,
It's
because
scary.
it just hit me. I was like, whoa, I can't see. You know what is going on? But it got me moving.
Yeah.
I went immediate to the eye doctor, and that's what they told me. So that was good news.
Right.
But at the same time, now it's like it's all sorts of changes. It seems like what's going on with these eyes. So that's one thing that really has me enraged
Makes
about
sense.
aging. Is that
It makes sense.
It does make sense.
But it's a small thing. I can take it.
Well, for me, I think I've embraced it because I just turned 50 this year. So I'm quite happy.
Celebrating
Still flying, yes, I celebrated in style, and I still was celebrating. But now, I guess I'm getting a tad bit enraged too because I'm starting noticing health issue, like things all of a sudden it's like bam, 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 bam. And I'm wondering, I'm like, okay, what is this rash? You know, then I found out I have eczema. Then I found out that I never had, you know, allergic reaction to anything. Now I'm getting allergic reactions to medications. I'm like, what is going on? Now when I'm walking, I get this little back pain. I'm like, what is that? Okay, wait a minute. Give me a minute. I just got into 50.
Right.
My 50 like I did my 49. So, you know, I guess it comes with the territory. Listen to you ladies, that your body just changes, and we just have to embrace it and just do what we have to do and stay healthy and take care of ourselves.
As much as we can.
Really do.
For me, it's embarrassment. I don't feel comfortable. I'd rather not share my age with anyone. Because I always think of older people as like the generation unseen, the invisible generation, where nobody pays them any kind of attention, nobody wants to help them, nobody wants to talk to them, they don't value what they really got to say anymore because you don't matter. I just feel like it's kind of embarrassing for me, and it's a little enraging for me in that same vein. Because nobody talks to you and nobody really values what you say and nobody really gives you the attention that you're used to getting. But I am also encouraged in knowing that God loves me, God sees me in spite of what everybody else sees and knows. God talks to me, He speaks to me. So I'm encouraged by that. But as far as embracing it like you ladies are, I got to get there. It's a work in progress. I got to get there.
I would have to agree with that. I mean, I thought it was my age because I was the youngest that I hadn't
Oh, my
embraced it
goodness.
yet.
In case y'all didn't hear it. In case y'all didn't hear it.
No, I mean, that's just so rude. You see what these older people do? Have no respect for you. There's no respect for you. So, no, in all seriousness, I was thinking, I was like, well, wow, I guess when I get to be 50, I'll embrace it because all of you had said that you had started to embrace it. And I clearly am not embracing it. I am embarrassed by it. We have a family member who has a running joke about, you know, as soon as you turn like 40, she's like, oh, welcome to AARP. So when I turned 40 and she welcomed me to, she welcomed me to AARP, I was like, girl, I'm fine. I wasn't paying her no attention. It didn't bother me at all. But now I'm starting to think, like, am I really that close to AARP? that I probably should be considering it. And then I'm a bit enraged because it's like the eye situation that you're going through, I'm going through. I used to be able to kind of like eat whatever I wanted, go lay down, and it didn't affect me at all. Now this indigestion, heartburn, my pocketbook looks like my grandmom's. You know, like I had 5 pairs of glasses in there, one for far-sighted, one for nearsighted, one for sun, one during the day. But it's just too much. And then you have to have freaking omeprazole, and you have to have Tums because then you need lactate because you can't tolerate lactose. I don't know what the heck is going on, but it's more than anybody ever warns me about. I don't know why no one told me that this was all going to all of a sudden happen like a thing of dominoes. My body was just going to fall apart like the little chips on a domino board.
I thought like when you get to 50, okay, that's still a fun time. I thought you didn't start breaking it down until you was like 70, 80.
Oh,
it seems like
70,
it
80.
jumped up 20 years.
70, 80?
What do you think? What do you think?
I never thought it was 70, 80, but...
I think because it's like my grandfather was still walking, talking, paying bills, walking. You know, he loved to take.
Well, you're doing all this stuff.
But he's 90. So when I say 80, I'm thinking like older people. That's when it hit him. But he was still walking and talking and doing his thing. And
We are all walking and talking.
I know, but you know what I mean. Like he didn't have.
Y'all walking and talking.
He didn't have any ailments. He didn't have a lot of ailments, I should say. You know, he didn't have eczema. He didn't. Well,
If that's the worst of your problems.
Exactly.
Welcome to the eczema. I've actually had eczema since I was a baby. Imagine that.
oh, wow.
It's like any change to your body. Though.
Yeah, any
You know, when
Thank
you hit that
Tanya.
50 mark and it's like any change, it's like so significant because it's like, why? You know, you have that, well, why do I feel this way? Why don't I have? But I think it's a lot that, you know, goes along with it, with your hormones and things like
Do
that.
you ever think that the eczema, it has nothing to do with the fact that you got older?
You have to share it with Dave.
However,
Joe, it just seemed like it didn't happen until I got to. It definitely didn't happen until I reached 50, and it's like, wait a minute, you know.
that is interesting though.
So I
you
really
would
want
always
to,
have to do it.
right, I want to
It's an
talk about
allergy,
body
right?
changes though.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah,
talk about
body.
our actual body changes, right? Because that's another thing that tends to happen.
Yep.
You know, the older we get, you know, the wrinkles and the lines and the frown lines and the smile lines and the brow lines and the baggy parts of your body that, you know, you don't want to be baggy because that's not a style. Like, how do we feel about that?
The only bag you want is your Louis Vuitton.
That's the only bag I want.
Now, that's true.
Yes.
No, I think that is a challenge. You know, when you're dealing with aches and pains and even, you know, different diagnoses that comes up that you just like, wait a minute, how did I get that? You know, I know with my body changing and putting on weight, and I'm looking at myself like, what is happening? You know, and again, that brings about the mental part of it because I've never seen myself like this. So it is. I think with your body changing and, you know, things is not as tight as they used to be. And even the various mental and medical conditions that you may have as well. I've never had diabetes, so now all of a sudden I got type 2 diabetes. You're like, wait a minute, where did that come from? So even dealing with the different diagnoses that you may be walking into, hyperthyroidism, you know, those type of things affects your body, affects how, you know, your body works now. So I think it's, when we're looking at the body changes, it's a lot. And that can be enraging.
Right.
Because I've never seen myself like that.
And embarrassing. That can
Yeah,
also be
embarrassing.
embarrassing because when you look in the mirror and now you see all these wrinkles and folds in your face that you never had before, you're almost embarrassed to go outside. And now you're wearing makeup when you're not even used to wearing makeup. You felt like you were okay without makeup, but now all of a sudden you got to put on a face full of makeup just to go outside. So it is difficult to accept some of the changes that you see when you look in the mirror, but you just got to realize that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, like we always say, and there is no judgment from God as far as you are concerned. You are perfectly fine. You are perfectly fine.
So as far as things like, you know, gray hair is concerned, that I know that is usually a thing that causes the initial, I would say, discomfort, right? Because that's like, I think the first thing that usually happens to people is like they start to get gray hair, unless you're premature gray or whatever. But
Wrinkles and stuff.
right. So then it's like, how does that work mentally You know,
dye
how
your
do you
hair.
feel
Guess
when
some
you?
people- guess some
But
people
they keep coming back.
yeah, or they weave it, or they, wear wigs or whatever
Right.
you do. And then also in that same vein, a lot of women experience alopecia. As you get older, you start to lose your hair and everything. And really, for us, our hair is our crown. So that can be somewhat embarrassing and challenging too. Yeah, but they have a lot of ways of covering those things up if you aren't comfortable with yourself.
So yeah, I mean that's good to be able to like cover this stuff up. I'm just thinking, psychologically, I'm thinking, if you start to have gray hair, and I mean it's only so much dye can do. Dye is only going to last so long. You're constantly dyeing over and over again. When that happens, but from a psychological perspective, or what was that first thing that made you think, wow, I'm really starting to age?
For me, it was the changes in my face.
Okay.
For me, it was the changes in my face. It wasn't really the gray hair, because I really still don't even
Me
have
either.
that much gray hair.
And I didn't want to say it.
Yeah. It's the changes in my face. Like, I started to see things on my face that I had never seen before. And I was like, oh my God, is this all a part of getting old? But then I kind of like poo-pooed it off, like, because it was starting to happen like in my 40s. And I kind of like poo-pooed it off as nothing. But then as I started to get older and older, and it started changing more and more, I was like, what in the world's happening? What's happening? Stop. So for me, it was the changes in my face.
Okay.
For me, it was the gray because I tried to wing it. I said, well, let me just embrace it. Let me see.
Right.
Let me see if I can rock this. And after a while, I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I don't like it. It did make me feel older.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to feel like that. So I went on and just dyed my hair again. But again, how many more times have I used a year and all these chemicals and everything else to try it? But I wasn't ready to embrace it. I tried it,
Right.
but I'm not ready for it. I don't like that part.
And Donna, you were saying the hair too.
Yeah, the hair. And for me, I haven't been dyeing it, so we'll see where it goes. I'm not sure.
Next episode, she might have a head full of gray hair.
But it was the gray. So for me, I'm just kind of going with it for now. We'll see.
Yeah.
Right. And Tanya,
Every day's
was
a
there
new day.
anything
It wasn't
that?
not so much the gray, because even though it was graying, my family, a lot of people in my family gray late.
Okay.
So I didn't really have a whole lot of gray, but I will cover it up because
Okay.
it's around the perimeter. So I'm like, they don't even look right.
Right.
So that's where it wasn't just I'm gray and I'm getting older and it's like, oh my God, psychologically that's bothering
Right.
me. It really didn't bother me in that way. No.
Okay. Yeah, that I was just wondering, so in that same vein, it's kind of easy to dye, and that's kind of, something light that we can do. But when those other things start to happen, like Janita, you talking about the things that occur in your face, and we all know things start to happen in our bodies. Would we alter those things? Like, how do we feel about, doing a little bit of Botox, doing some Restylane, doing maybe a facelift, doing some type of a body alteration, as far as the aging process, recognizing our metabolism is a little bit slower. And once the things start to move into different locations, they don't come back on their own. So how do we feel about, potentially doing some home improvements?
And I don't think nothing's wrong with that. If you want to do that, if that's for you, then fine. But I would also caution to ensure that this is just something I want to do for me,
Right.
not the mental part of it where you're trying to change yourself somehow.
Okay.
I think that's the unhealthy
it for
part of it
someone
because
else.
I'm not accepting
For
who I am.
somebody else's approval.
Yep,
Right.
somebody else's
That could be,
approval.
yes.
So I would just caution, if you want to do some of those things, fine.
Right. Just
But the
research
caution
it.
would be,
Right,
the
research.
why behind it, and how much of you will you sacrifice in reference to doing those things.
Well, I think I was more or less referring to personally, like on a personal level. How comfortable do you feel with doing it? You know what I mean? Like, of course, our audience, if you guys feel like you want to do some Botox, have you done some Botox? Does it really hurt?
Yeah.
Is it really pain-free? How long can you do it before you're addicted to it? Because I heard it has like some addictive properties as well. But I'm addicted to get my eyelashes done. So, I mean, I'm addicted to coffee. So, I mean, I guess everything has some of those properties to it. So, as far as on a personal level, so Janita, would you consider, doing that for yourself to, potentially?
I think I would. I would consider doing something like that for myself. I'm a huge proportionate of proponent. I'm sorry. I'm a huge proponent of you know, like if you anything that you can do to make you feel better.
Amen.
You know, I'm a huge proponent of that, but I just want to make sure I'm doing it for the right reasons, like Tanya said, you know, that it would be for me and for me alone. I think that in situations, therapy may be in order if you're considering doing major changes to yourself or whatever, and you're considering doing it for somebody other than yourself, then you probably need to seek therapy before doing anything at all. But for me, I would be doing it only for myself to make myself feel better. I haven't done any of it, but
If you were to do it, right? If you were to do
don't
it,
be surprised. Keep on watching.
right? Exactly. Stay tuned.
Right? When you think about it, as you get older, it's a little bit more challenging to lose weight. So some people do think about, well, are there other options that I can do? And I think, again, it's to each his own. If you want to do that, do it. I probably would look into getting Botox and see what that looks like, you know, and research that out myself. But anything else, I don't think I've ever thought about doing anything to my body.
And
Well,
then
in
too,
any way.
I just wanted to, I'm sorry,
No,
I
you're
don't
good.
mean to cut you. Then too, just make sure if you're getting any of this stuff done, it's by a board certified doctor.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Somebody who knows what they are doing. You don't want to be in the back alley somewhere getting yourself all jacked up in there. So just make sure you go to a board certified doctor. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Good. And you guys all know, but after I had Rylan, you know, Rylan was, you know, my C-section baby. I had 2 vaginals, and then I had a C-section with Rylan. And, you know, I'm a slender built person. So, you know, my body usually stays the same. After babies, I can usually bounce back in, you know, a couple weeks. And after I had Rylan, I was not bouncing back, right? I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, the people were actually commenting, like, oh my God, like, you're actually holding on to, you know, that weight, which was uncomfortable for me because I'm used to being, you know, a certain weight. So it wasn't so much the weight, because I knew I could get that off, but it was my stomach. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm doing sit-ups, I'm not eating, I'm putting on waist trainers, I'm doing all these things that people are suggesting to do to lose my stomach, and nothing was happening. So I went to see my OB, and he says to me, he was like, Sarita, your muscles were cut, so it doesn't matter how much working out you do, the stomach's over. It's not going to happen. Unless you intervene, then it's not going to happen. So I had Sono Bello. It was a phenomenal thing because it made me feel like myself. I was feeling so uncomfortable in this body where, you know, I was starting to lose weight, but the stomach was just still there. So, and I agree with you 1,000%. And like, if there's something that's going to make you feel better, you're not feeling like yourself, then, you know, God made doctors. God made them to be intelligent enough to create new procedures. I don't think personally that, you know, he has a problem with me altering, because I actually went back to what I used to be. That's what I tell myself. So I don't know. So Dee, did you ever consider doing anything as far as, you know, the physical part of?
I actually have. I'm actually currently thinking about a few things to try to help myself, because I too have been gaining weight. And again, I think it's this 50 thing, but of course, but I in my later years as well have held on to weight, and it seems like the more I've exercised, I tried so many yo-yo diets. I tried this, I tried that, I tried protein, I tried keto, I tried Herbalife, I tried
Nutrisystem.
Like, I tried it. I wanted to get better. I want, you know what I mean? And I'm not a crazy eater. That's the whole thing about it. Like, you never see me eating a whole bag of chips or chocolate. I may sneak a Reese's Pieces every now and then, but outside of that, I'm not a junk eater. But I just can't shed this weight, and it seems like it's just sitting on me. So I am thinking about something for the future, and I'll share with you guys. I got to go through some more, you know, testing. So, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep you abreast, because if that's the case, if I do decide to follow what I'm thinking, I want you guys to share my journey.
Amen.
So,
Amen.
Encourage somebody else.
Right, encourage somebody else. And that's what it's all about. I mean, that's what this whole episode is about, because we don't know, like, I was not prepared for what this midlife was going to look like. So it kind of swept me off of my feet. And the biggest thing to me, Donna, is just like you said, the eyes. Like, I did not recognize how disabled I feel now, you know, going from the computer to standing, from standing to driving, from, you know, it's a whole thing to the point where I'm actually considering getting laser surgery, because you know, I can't deal with all this back and forth because I feel like it's giving me headaches. I get more tired. You know, it could all be my own hallucinations. I can't hear now. I'm half deaf in one ear. I mean, I'm limping. It's just doing all kinds of things to me. I didn't know how, you know, it would impact me. But in all actuality, I am really considering, you know, looking into having some type of laser surgery done just because, you know, it really is bothering me. You know, it's something that really
is a thing.
It's a thing. It's really a thing. So
And
I
you
mean,
know what else is a thing? I don't mean to cut
no,
you.
go.
But having to eat sweet and salty. Do you
Do
all
tell.
experience that?
Yes.
I do.
Share.
I
You know, like a meal is great if it consists of both of those things.
Okay.
That's the perfect meal.
That's
Yep.
the perfect meal. You guys haven't. Oh, you haven't gotten your time.
No, yes.
Yes, it's a thing.
It
Like,
is
I
a
Sweet and
thing.
salty
knew
is a
that
thing.
That was a thing when you get to these ages.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I'm experiencing that more so now than ever.
Sweet and salty.
Sweet and salty.
Because your taste
Can you
changes.
comment if you are experiencing sweet and salty? I'm not even sure I understand what she means
Oh,
by sweet and salty.
Okay, explain it.
But
It's coming.
right, and
It's coming. Wait for it. Now, don't say no one told you that.
right,
Okay,
you're
it's
right,
coming.
you're right.
So Donna, explain what you mean by that.
What I mean is, okay, let's just take a meal, okay? If you have yourself some good waffles, right?
Okay, with your
Then
syrup.
you turn around and you got your syrup, and then you have yourself a sausage, right?
Okay.
Then you got your sweet
and salty.
and you got your salty. That's the
Good.
perfect meal.
Good.
You're good.
I eat
But you
waffles and
don't-
sausage all the time because it's a meat and it's
No, you're
But I'm
doing it, but it just,
If it's-
what she's saying is it's just a meal that works.
That's
So
that
now
meal,
you're
it
not
works,
lacking
yes,
either.
you-
Okay, I thought she meant something like chocolate and then chips.
Oh, yeah, that is
Oh,
what
okay.
she means. That
Okay.
is what she
Okay.
means.
That's exactly what I mean. If I have my chips now, and it used to be okay just to have some chips, but now I gotta throw in something sweet. So
Right.
it's like I'm going back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
where is this gonna end?
Yeah.
You know,
And then all of
but
that
usually
could,
the salt outweighs.
and you know what too,
Yeah,
Donna?
in with
That attributes to that weight gain too.
Exactly,
The fact that you need the
exactly.
sweet and
Yes,
salty
yes.
now, constantly sweet, salty, sweet, salty.
Okay, I'm gonna take notes
Yeah,
on
So
that.
yeah.
Okay, another thing that I am unaware of, but I have a feeling it's coming. This menopause thing. The hot flashes. I'm at the point where I can feel things are a bit irregular.
Oh boy.
Does that mean you're closer to 50 than you think?
So if you guys want to shed some light, you know, for the younger viewers
Well,
as to how menopause kind of unraveled.
That salt, that sweet kick in, and you're gonna be
Well-
burning up.
Well, for me, menopause kind of kicked in early. I am a 2-time breast cancer survivor, for those of you who may not know that. I had gone through chemotherapy, and in going to chemotherapy, it sometimes pushes you into menopause.
Okay.
So I lost my period and all that good stuff that goes along with menopause. That's one of the benefits. However, you get these hot flashes that all of a sudden you are breaking out in a sweat. You're hot, then you're cold. You're hot, then you're cold. Now, for my husband, he must think I'm schizophrenic or bipolar or something.
I'm sure.
Because there are times when I can be burning up hot. 5 minutes later, I am freezing cold. So for us, you know, like even in the winter time, we have to have the ceiling fan at least going so that I stay cool.
Okay.
So, but meanwhile, he's all snugged up like a
Right.
bear and underneath the covers.
Right.
So it's like, what are we doing now? And how
Right.
you feeling now?
So he's in Alaska and you're
and in the
Caribbean.
Bahamas.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm in the Bahamas.
Got it. Got it. Got
And
it.
Janita told me one thing that was really good. I mean, this is just one of the many things about those hot flashes. So if you're asleep in your bed or whatever, you're going to wake up, whether it's like a couple seconds prior to having that heat flash. It's just amazing how your body does. Like you just wake up
Yep.
and you'll be fine.
Yep.
But then the next minute you're going to be hot.
Okay.
So it's just really weird. I mean, pay attention. Let us know, guys, if you've experienced the same thing. But it's really a weird thing, but it's true. You know?
So it kind of reminds me of in the Bible, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego being in a fiery furnace, and then it gets turned up 10 times hotter.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's internal.
Are you-
It's internal heat.
Okay.
Oh, it's an internal heat, and it is
Hot.
It's hot.
And I really think that a
That's
lot
also
of
that we
it
don't need
is
to go to
because
hell.
of what we eat too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could
Like,
contribute
yeah,
to it.
That
yeah,
sweet-
Yeah, that's
that
sweet.
sweet
If
does
you
it
eat
for
that
me,
at a
yeah.
certain time, that's why it's best if you can to cut it off at a certain time before
Right.
you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you will experience those hot flashes
Yeah.
a lot through the night.
And it can be embarrassing too.
Yeah.
You know, for me, you get in the hot flash because then you're sweaty.
Yeah.
So then you're messing up your clothes. You know.
Right.
So it has that embarrassing
that
component to it
embarrassing.
because of that.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
So just being mindful of carrying an extra T-shirt,
Right.
making sure you have your wipes. Like it's a whole system to this thing.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the system later.
I
I sound like we could be here until next season.
Some people have it a lot worse than others.
Right.
But that's just like with anything.
I'm like,
Or
yes.
never.
Yeah.
Or never, yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So, in just wrapping up this episode, I just,
You can't
there's-
wait. You can't wait.
I don't even have words to say. I mean, you guys kind of have me in a headlock. I don't know if I want to get any older, but I guess I don't have a choice. So what I heard you guys saying is, the sweet and salty thing is going to occur. Your diet is going to change, and we're all in agreement that if you want to do some alterations to yourself to make yourself feel better, then that's understandable. But also, don't forget about the older people. Once you get older, don't be, like the individuals that Janita's talking about, where she just feels like she's kind of left out. Include everybody. That's what this conversation is all about. And another thing, you are the sixth woman at the table, so please share your input. If you have any tips that we can use, if there's anything else that we're forgetting about that happens in midlife, add it to the comments, because I'm reading those comments and I want to know and be prepared.
Right.
You guys all know I love to be prepared for things, so if you would write it in the comments, we really, really appreciate it. So we just want to say thank you guys for coming together to get it together. We got it together. Don't forget to like, share,